All right, good afternoon. I'd like to thank SAGES for the opportunity to give this talk. This project was funded by the Association of Surgical Education Center for Excellence in Surgical Education Research and Training Grant. As the popularity of robotic surgery continues to increase, there have been two stereotypes that have prevailed. Robotic surgery is expensive and it's inefficient. Robotic technology affords novel features to the surgeon. However, these can the exponential decision tree that this creates can oftentimes distract the surgeon and lead to case prolongation. This concept is known as cognitive overload. It's been described further in the literature as technology overload. As you can see by this figure, basically, this concept suggests that in any situation, the addition of new technology can actually reach a point in when it hinders productivity. To identify opportunities for improved operative efficiency, we performed a sub-analysis of a larger study that investigated what expert surgeons see when watching robotic surgery. The overall project was designed to analyze observations of robotic surgeons. First, we identified robotic experts. We invited them to watch clips of robotic surgeries, and while watching, we asked them to describe what it was they saw on screen. These interviews were in person, recorded, and later transcribed. We then completed a thematic qualitative analysis of the transcriptions. We defined our robotic experts by high surgical case volume, contributions to the surgical literature, and their interest in or commitment to surgical education. We aimed for diverse participants representing various surgical subspecialties and regions throughout the country. Our goal was to capture a diverse set of operative environments. The video clips were separated into two groups of average and error performance. The clips were all HIPAA compliant, were performed by anonymous surgeons, and illustrated key steps in common surgical procedures. Overall, there were 17 surgeons that completed our interviews. They represented 13 different states, 7 surgical subspecialties, and on average had performed over 600 robotic cases at the time of our interview. Our thematic analysis revealed a consistent emphasis on inefficiency. 3 factors contributed to this: case progression, robotic capabilities, and instrumentation. Within the theme of case progression, 2 patterns emerged. First, the observations of surgeons' repetition and indecision was associated with inexperience. And secondly, our experts' language reflected impatience with this type of action. The following comment highlights the relationship between uncertainty and inefficiency. So I see a fair bit of questioning, like, is this okay? Is this okay? It's just like 2 seconds. Think and then buzz. So the metronome of the operation has slowed down now. It's not quite as frenetic as it was a minute ago. And here's an example of the associated impatience. There's no sense to re-grab there. That's what a hitch and a swing is. They just re-grabbed it for the sake of re-grabbing it. They didn't get anything better out of it. It's not better exposure. It's not better technique. It's just a wasted motion. And they're going really, 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 really slow. This sense of annoyance or irritation suggests that our experts recognized ineffective progression. The second theme that emerged from our analysis reflected the robotic capabilities. Highlighted features of the robotic platform included improved visualization, additional robotic arms, wristed features, and the Firefly technology. Utilization of the robotic capabilities were associated with improved efficiency and more advanced skill. For example, repeated comments were made about beginners using a straight stick approach as opposed to the wristed articulation. The third and most robust theme to emerge was that of instrument selection. Surgeons discussed instrument strengths, weaknesses, and considerations for use with regards to energy modality, safety concerns, cost, and versatility. Oftentimes, experts' comments involved weighing the risks and the benefits of overlapping considerations. Considering energy, they don't have energy and they don't have scissors, and so essentially their technique is just going to be a rip and tear technique. Regarding safety, now this is potentially a dangerous situation. You have energy hooked up to both of those instruments, and if you get your footing wrong, you're gonna put a hole in something. Concerning costs, this is one that people will try to do to save instruments, to cut costs. They're just trying to be cheap, and the question is, but to what cost? And discussing instrument versatility, essentially the only real maneuver you can do with the hook is to hook tissue and burn it. With the scissors, you can actually spread and dissect. I think it's a more sophisticated and elegant instrument. To recap, comments from our expert robotic surgeons fell into 3 themes: overall case progression, robotic capabilities, and instrumentation. A significant emphasis was on inefficiency. Navigating the numerous technological considerations during robotic surgery seems to put operators at risk for cognitive overload. Again, this is when a surgeon's cognitive abilities are overburdened and case progression suffers. The language of impatient with progression indicates that our experts recognize when operators reach this state. So in summary, our study suggests 2 avenues to move from inefficiency to efficiency, such as that seen with expert robotic surgeons. The first is that attending surgeons should learn to recognize that delayed case progression likely reflects operator cognitive overload. And the second is that educators should focus on optimizing robotic capabilities and instrumentation considerations to minimize the cognitive burden for robotic surgeons. Thanks, and I'll take any questions.